Hi, I'm Sonnet with Sonnet's Garden Blooms, and I want to welcome you all to my channel. Today I am adding more holiday to my booth, so I'm going to show you how I created some holiday pillows, took an item from my recent haul and flipped it, and then I'm going to show you a sneak peek of some ornaments that I'm going to be putting on my tree. So I hope you enjoy. If you haven't been to my channel before, I want to welcome you. And if you do like DIYs, thrift hauls, thrift flips, a day in the life of a small business owner, then you have found your channel. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. So every Monday and Friday when I do release a video, you'll be notified. And if you do like today's video, go ahead, give me a thumbs up. So for my first project here, I did pick this in one of my recent hauls, and what I decided I want to do is I'm going to spray it all black with the Rust-Oleum 2x spray paint, and then I'm also going to use the Rust-Oleum white chalk paint, and I'm going to spray it with that, and then I'm going to distress it, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to repaint both the berries and those leaves and put a different piece of twine on it. I love this piece, and I just think the white is going to really make it pop, and I think it's going to, with the two different greens I'm going to use and the bright red for the berries, it's going to just make this completely transformed. So here I have it completely sprayed the white. I'm taking a sanding block and I'm just distressing all the raised surfaces. And after I'm done with that, I am going to apply a complete clear coat. But before I do that, I'm going to show you how I paint the holly on the actual sled. So here I took Marquee and I added that to the berries. I took Gypsy Green and I took Aviary and I blended those for the leaves of the holly. I just love how this turned out. I think it looks amazing. And now I'm going to let these dry and I'm going to do a clear coat on the whole thing. For this project, we are going to use some drop cloth that I had, some fabric that I recently found. I think it just kind of has a Christmas vibe to it, or a holiday vibe. And then we're going to use both the set Farmhand and the set Retro. And we are going to make some custom hand-stamped pillows. And I'm going to show you how to do this. If you haven't used the IOD set of stamps before, it's very easy. So you just take the stamps out of the actual packaging, and a new product that they actually have or just came out with, unfortunately they were sold out by the time I went to order them, is they have these new envelopes that you can package your stamps all in real nice after you use them. I used to try to get them back into these plastic, baggies that it came with. They always seem to rip. So I'm very excited. And as soon as they are available, I will be having them on my website too. But now with these stamps, you just peel off the backing. So you're not gonna wreck the stamps in any way, shape, or form. Just peel that off and I'll show you. Then I just take a piece of just a sanding block, and what you're going to want to do is just rough these up a bit, just to prep them and get them all set so that the actual ink adheres to them a little bit better. So you're just seasoning them, is a good way to put it. All right, now that they are set, we're gonna show you, or I'm gonna show you how to go about this. The new stamps are also coming with what are called masks. That way, if you want to layer different items, you can actually put a mask over a letter and then have something stamped over it. So that is really nice. They also have some of the past stamps that didn't come with masks, they have them now available. So here I'm getting ready to lay out the stamps. I am going to stamp Joy, Jolly, and Mary. So we're going to start off with the Joy. What I like to do is lay the stamps actually on the piece and get a feel for how big of a patch I want to make. So I determined I like that. I'm going to take that backing, pick the stamps up. We're going to use the color Tomato, and we're going to ink up the Joy. You do want it to be a bit juicy so that when you're stamping on fabric, it really takes the color. And then I'm just going to go next, and we're going to do Mary, and we're going to stamp that. And then finally what we're going to do is the Jolly. Once I get all of these stamped, then we're going to go ahead and cut each of the patches out. So here I'm taking scissors, and I am just going to eye up and cut out each of the patches and just tidy them up a bit. And I'm going to do that for all three. It's just, I kind of eyeball it and just want to leave enough material on each side so that when I sew the patch on the pillow, that it just allows enough room for that. So here I'm going to be stamping Holly Jolly. I'm laying it out like I did with the other stamps. We're going to use black this time. We're going to stamp out Holly Jolly in black, and then on the inside of the stamps, we're going to use a red chalk paint. So initially I tried to use that black stamp pad, and it just was not wet enough, so I added more ink to the pad so that it is nice and juicy like the red was. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that out. I'm going to take and we're going to re-ink, and we're going to do the Jolly next. And then we're going to go in and fill in with the L's. It's just such an easy way to do it. And then there you have it, Holly Jolly. Now we're ready for some red paint. So I took a paintbrush that has a real nice tip to it. It's like a square tip, and that way it really allows me to get into each of the corners real nice. And you don't want to have too much paint on your paintbrush, and just follow the lines like so. This actually went real smooth and just real nice, and the paint went on great. I loved it. Now, after I finished painting all the letters, I did let it dry, and after it dried, I went back and I took my iron on hot and I sealed it. Or well, how I sealed it is I just ironed the whole piece and pressed it, and that really seals in all of the inks. Again, with having the chalk paint, I wouldn't recommend washing or anything like that. I would just like spot clean it. But yeah, it just, it turned out so nice, and I was very excited for this. After I get done painting and then pressing like I talked about, I then sewed on the backing. So on this project, I'm using Iron Orchid's Air Dry Clay, the new Frames mold, and the mold called Harper. And what I'm going to do here is I'm taking cornstarch, and we're going to put cornstarch in the mold, and this just really helps the air dry clay release quick so it doesn't stick in there. You're also going to use gravity to help get the clay out of it as well. When you're not using the air dry clay, I do recommend putting it in a Ziploc bag. It does, or otherwise it is going to dry out. Even in between using it, like when I'm using it now, I do have a Ziploc bag that I have it closed up. You just want to make sure that it's not it dries out pretty quick is basically what I'm trying to say. So you just definitely want to protect it. So here I'm going and I'm just pushing it in, taking my thumb, pulling back, rubbing it across. The nice thing about the molds, it does have a little lip around all the molds, so it's very easy to make a real nice, crisp, clean edge. And I'm doing that for both the letter C and the actual frame that I'm using. And now I'm going to show you how, like I said, gravity to pull the mold out. And we're doing that for both the letter and the actual frame. So from this point, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the DIY paint, and I'm going to use a little black dress. And I'm going to paint the inside of that frame. The black. I just think it's going to make that white letter pop, and I'm using that same brush that I did to paint those letters on that pillow Holly Jolly. It just makes a real nice crisp line around that inside of the mold. After that, then what I'm going to do is take the paint called Apothecary, and I just wanted to, at first I was going to leave the frame white, but I decided just to add a little bit of a vintage feel to it. I'm going to take and I'm going to use Apothecary to do that. Oh yeah, and I'm using tight bond to put on that letter. And I just am rubbing just a little bit, and I'm actually just going to put it right on the actual frame now. So at this point, this is when I'm going to add the Apothecary. And like I said, I was going to just leave it white, but I just thought it would add a little bit of a vintage feel to the frame by having the Apothecary on there. So I'm taking that. I don't want full coverage. I do want the white to peek through a bit as well. So I'm just slightly brushing it over the all kind of like the raised edges is what I'm doing. And I absolutely love how this is turning out. So these are going to be ornaments that I am going to be making for my Christmas tree. I'm really excited, and as I was working on this project, it made me realize there's so many possibilities with these ornaments or with these molds. And after I'm done, or after it's done drying, I am going to then clear coat it with Big Top. So what did you guys all think? What was your favorite item? Honestly, mine were the throw pillows. I loved them. I could make throw pillows all day long. I just love sewing them up, and there's so many possibilities and ideas out there. But I do love the words, like the merry, the joy, jolly. I was thinking I should just come up with all kinds of them. Well, then I'm like, well, I have to make sure these sell. They're a new product. I haven't done anything like this. So I stopped at 3 of those. I did like the Holly Jolly as well, but again, I haven't done it before, so I'm gonna just put those in my Water Street Vintage booth. Now, Monday's video, I think I am going to do another thrift to treasure. I honestly have so many items that I want to flip and I want to show you, so I'll bring you along for that. I want you guys all to have a great weekend, and we will see you guys all Monday. Bye.